Tonight on NXT, the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Classic begins. And on Lucha Underground, the Monster Matanza versus Prince Puma. Let's talk about it. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel tonight. What I got for you guys is your official NXT and Lucha Underground review for October 5th, 2016. We're going to start off with NXT, and tonight was indeed the beginning of the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Classic. This is the second annual Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. As you guys know from last year, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe were the winners of the first ever inaugural Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. This is going to be a staple on NXT television, and I am very excited for this year's event. WWE seems to have stacked this event with a lot of big-time players, man, and it's very exciting to see, and I think it's going to outdo what they did last year, so I'm definitely excited to see what takes place with this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament. We're going to start off with the brackets. If you guys went to WWE.com, they have a printable version of the bracket so that you at home can keep track. This is mine. I actually did this at work today. I printed this out at the job. And we're going to go over all 16 teams that are in the tournament right now. WWE announced all 16 teams. We're going to go over my opinion, and we're going to go over who I think is going to win this entire thing and why, okay? The first round, 16 teams, then we go to the quarterfinals, 8, then the semis, 4, and then obviously the finals until we crown a champion of this entire tournament. TM61, you guys know who they are. They've been on WWE television for the last couple of months. Very exciting new team at the Performance Center. They're going up against Tino Sabatelli and his partner, I don't know who this is, Moss. But obviously, we all know TM61, being that they are the more known of the two teams, they are going to advance in this tournament, and they will make the quarterfinals. Team Aries, obviously, that will consist of Austin Aries, the greatest man that has ever lived, and a partner of his choosing. We do not know who that is as of yet. His team is going up against Bogo, Jevic, and Knight. Now, obviously, again, there's no reason to believe why Austin Aries will not advance in this tournament. As for his partner, there are a lot of rumors going around that it's going to be Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong coming over from Ring of Honor, and he's going to team with Austin Aries. There's also a lot of people wondering why WWE did not pair Austin Aries and Bobby Roode together. Instead, they paired Bobby Roode with Ty Dillinger. Now, I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see their interaction, especially with Bobby Roode's glorious gimmick now and Austin Aries being a cocky prick. That would have been fantastic, but WWE is obviously going in a different route, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. I am under the assumption, and I'm going with the partner being Roderick Strong. Rumors are running rampant online. There were several reports that he was supposed to start with the Performance Center in September. They waited till this moment to debut him here with Austin Aries, so no reason to believe why Team Aries will not advance. They will go on to battle TM61 in the quarterfinals. Something that we reported on Off the Script, man. Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi will be teaming up for this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They are going up against Lince Dorado and Mustafa Ali, both from the Cruiserweight Classic. Lince Dorado is one of my favorites coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. Mustafa Ali was also one of the better showcases in the Cruiserweight Classic. No reason to believe here why Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi will not advance. Obviously, they have the most star power here. WWE is going to line this tournament up with the best possible teams that they have in this tournament. Itami and Ibushi will advance. Next one we have is an interesting one, man. Ty Dillinger versus Bobby Roode. Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode. I jumped the gun there a little bit. Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode versus Sanity. Now, if you guys read the news reports, Sanity will debut next week on NXT. Sanity includes Eric Young as the leader of a 4-person stable. Okay? Nikki Starr, I believe, is also in this stable. I don't know who the other two guys are. I forgot who their names were. I read the spoilers weeks ago when this was unveiled because I was curious to see who Sanity was. But Sanity will go against Tye Dillinger and Bobby Roode. Now, I did say just a little bit ago that Tye Dillinger versus Bobby Roode. That's where they are leading with this. If you guys seen tonight, Bobby Roode was a cocky, arrogant, egotistical prick where Tye Dillinger is like, what the fuck is this guy doing? What the fuck did I get myself into? And he played it off as like, this guy is absolutely fucking crazy. He's all about himself. And Bobby Roode is just gloating that he's glorious and that this is going to be the perfect opportunity for the Glorious 10 to advance and that next week is their time to shine. This is going to set up a match for Toronto TakeOver with Tye Dillinger and Bobby Roode, being that both are Canadian-born. This is going to get Bobby Roode to the next level. This is going to get Tye Dillinger to the next level as he's going to be working with Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode came in and he's absolutely white hot, and I can't wait to see this unfold, man. This is going to be the downfall. Everybody's picking Dillinger and Roode, but I, unfortunately, read the spoilers. I know where they are headed with this. There's no reason why they're going to debut Eric Young in a new stable, Sanity, and have him lose in his debut match. It's not going to happen, man. Dillinger and Roode, there's going to be some dissension there, and they are going to cost each other the match. Sanity will advance, and they will go up against Itami and Ibushi in the quarterfinals. Authors of Pain tonight, they had their first round match. They went against the Bollywood Boys in a complete fucking squash. They did their finisher on the Bollywood Boys, the final chapter, and they advanced in less than 2 minutes. A complete squash of the Bollywood Boys. Authors of Pain advance easily to the quarterfinals. No Way Jose and Rich Swann, they will team up against Tony Nese and Drew Gulak in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Tony Nese is a premier athlete every sense of the fucking word. He is a premier athlete. One of my favorites coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. Very happy to see him on Monday Night Raw. Drew Gulak, he was on Monday Night Raw. And I'm surprised that WWE actually brought Drew Gulak to the main roster. Whereas if there weren't Cruiserweights on Monday Night Raw, we probably would never see Drew Gulak anywhere near Monday Night Raw. He reminds everybody of a modern day Dean Malenko. That's how great he is, man. He's a submission specialist. He's got that fucking cold as ice attitude. Doesn't give a fuck attitude. But there's no way that Nese and Gulak will advance over No Way Jose and Rich Swann, man. Rich Swann and No Way Jose are two of the more popular wrestlers on NXT. And I believe No Way Jose and Rich Swann, who cut a very, very nice promo tonight, explaining to the WWE Universe why they chose each other as tag team partners. Rich Swann and No Way Jose will advance. They will meet the Authors of Pain on my bracket in the quarterfinals. The Revival versus Andrade Cien Almas and Cedric Alexander. Now, we've seen this match tonight in the main event, and the Revival clearly are one of the odds-on favorite to win this entire thing. But being that they are the tag team champions doesn't necessarily mean that they have to win the entire thing. Okay, they could look strong. They could advance. They could go all the way to the finals. And they could fall, which might very well happen. But being that they are not putting the championships on the line in this tournament, it is okay to beat the champions in this type of situation to put another set of superstars over. Okay? And the fact that the Authors of Pain are in this tournament and are in the same bracket as the Revival, I just don't see anybody beating the Authors of Pain in this entire tournament. But the Revival went against Almas and Alexander tonight in the main event. Very, very, very good main event, man. There's a reason why people call the Revival the best tag team in the industry. You watch these guys go, and they are literally the best tag team in all of WWE, man. There's nobody that works the tag team game like the Revival, man. The Revival is a throwback on reviving tag team wrestling. You watch these guys, you know what the WWE is missing with tag team action. You look at the Revival, they're doing everything that needs to be done as far as a tag team goes, man. They are fucking incredible, and they advanced in this tournament tonight in a very, very good match, man. Almas and Alexander, they had a main event match last week, and they hugged it out. They were very respectful of each other. They admired each one's skills, and they were friends at the end of that match, and they decided, you know what, we just put each other through a hell of a match. We're going to team up for this Dusty Rhodes Classic, man. I think that'll be a good team. So we come to tonight, and WWE finally pulled the plug on a heel turn for Andrade Cien Almas. People were booing this guy, and they had absolutely no investment in his character. It completely flopped. So WWE did the right thing here, and they gave people a reason to boo Andrade Cien Almas. Now at least when you boo him, people are going to have a fucking reason to boo this guy. He destroyed Alexander at the end of this match, and he threw him into the steps, he beat the shit out of him, and he had this cocky, egotistical, I'm better than everybody attitude. Finally, they did something right after months and months of not getting this guy over. Almas finally has some shred of character on WWE NXT television. So he attacked Cedric Alexander, and people gave a shit about this guy for the first time since he's debuted. You know, he debuted with less than zero fanfare. Nobody gave a shit about him. Came out as Mr. Strippergram wearing fucking white overalls and a top hat. Looked like he was going to the fucking strip club instead of the WWE Performance Center. Now, they actually gave people a reason to boo this guy by attacking one of the more fan favorites in NXT. Coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic, Cedric Alexander. They lost. The Revival obviously advanced. They now will go on to the quarterfinals, and they will challenge the winner of Gargano and Ciampa. They will go up against Bin Wang and Ho Ho Loon. No reason to believe why Gargano and Ciampa will not advance here, man. Bin Wang, he's WWE's signee out of China. It's going to be interesting to see him on NXT television for the first time, but I don't think he is going to win against the more qualified team of Gargano and Ciampa. So we got TM61 in my bracket against Team Aries. Itami and Ibushi versus Sanity. Authors of Pain versus No Way Jose and Rich Swann. And the Revival versus Gargano and Ciampa. I think this is solid. I think this is what's going to happen as far as the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Now, as far as the quarterfinals go, TM61 versus Team Aries. Honestly, Team Aries is going to have this one. TM61's good, but they're not going to beat Austin Aries and Roderick Strong. They're going on to the semifinals. Itami and Ibushi versus Eric Young and Sanity. Whoever Eric Young's partner is, we will see next week. But Itami, obviously, they have something going on with Austin Aries. So right there, it makes sense right off the bat that Itami and Ibushi go on to advance, and Itami gets some sort of revenge and gets his hands on Austin Aries in the semifinals. Another reason is, listen, you're bringing in Kota Ibushi. You're not going to have Kota Ibushi lose this thing. This is not the Cruiserweight Classic, okay? Obviously, Kota Ibushi did not sign with the WWE. He was not going to win the Cruiserweight Classic, and after the entire tournament was over, we realized that whoever was going to win this thing was going to be crowned the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion and be the face of that division on Monday Night Raw. This is not the Cruiserweight Classic. Itami and Ibushi could very well win this thing because it's not for any championship. This is for the honor of Dusty Rhodes. So giving them this opportunity to win it is vastly different than the Cruiserweight Classic and having Ibushi win the entire thing over there. Honestly, I think Itami and Ibushi go on to win this and advance to go on against Team Aries, and Roderick Strong. That's going to be the semifinal match for those reasons that I just gave you. Authors of Pain versus No Way Jose and Rich Swann. Authors of Pain are going to demolish any team that is in front of them. There is no chance for No Way Jose and Rich Swann. Will the Authors of Pain lose? No way, Jose. And the Revival versus Gargano and Ciampa. Obviously, you guys know the deal with that if you've been watching NXT television. This is a huge rivalry brewing. The last time we seen the Revival and both Gargano and Ciampa, the Revival literally destroyed both men. And they left them wasted in the NXT arena. And this was immediately after their match at the Cruiserweight Classic. It was filmed after the Cruiserweight Classic. in which they went against Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander. They were cleared and medically cleared to go after their NXT TakeOver Brooklyn match with the Revival. The Revival just picked up the pieces and picked up where they left off in Brooklyn by demolishing both Gargano and Ciampa. They will have the rematch, non-title, but this is for the honor of Dusty Rhodes. I just mentioned that it is okay for the Revival to lose this thing. They don't necessarily have to win it because they are the tag team champions. I think in a non-title situation, I think Gargano and Ciampa are going to get their revenge on the Revival, and they will advance to the semifinals to go against the Authors of Pain. Now, the reason why I say that is because I cannot see the Authors of Pain versus the Revival. That's a heel team versus a heel team. And there's no way you're going to have the Revival look at least competitive against these types of monsters, man. I want the underdogs. I want the upstarts going up against the Authors of Pain, man. I want the smaller guys going up against the Authors of Pain, man. I want that Cinderella story in this tournament. And Gargano and Ciampa can play a beautiful Cinderella story role here. I think that's what it's going to end up. Authors of Pain versus Gargano and Ciampa, and that is going to be your semifinal match. Gargano and Ciampa are going to get their revenge, for now, in a non-title situation over the Revival in the quarterfinals. So now we're looking at, as far as my brackets go, Aries, Team Aries, that's Austin Aries and Roderick Strong. We're going to assume it's Roderick Strong. And it's Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi. Then you got the Authors of Pain versus Gargano and Ciampa. So those are the last 4 teams on my bracket. Aries and Ibushi, obviously, I'm going with Ibushi and Itami here, and they are going to advance to the finals. Authors of Pain versus Gargano and Ciampa, there's no way that the Authors of Pain are losing this match. Now, my finals are looking like Hideo Itami and Ibushi versus the Authors of Pain. I actually can go either way with this. I could see Itami and Ibushi winning this and giving them huge momentum, especially Itami, who certainly needs it. The Authors of Pain, you know, you can make claim that they are the most dominant team in NXT, and they've run through literally everybody, and they've looked as dominant as a team could look in NXT. How could you have those guys lose? But you got to look who's going to be staring them down on the other side of the ring, man. Kota Ibushi and Hideo Itami. I honestly think if the WWE wants a feel-good story here, and they want to get Hideo Itami over because he's going to be the next in line to challenge, I believe, Shinsuke Nakamura for the NXT Championship, I think Hideo Itami and Ibushi are going to be the ones to win this entire tournament. I think they will be the upset, or pull off the upset here against the Authors of Pain. But it could go either way, man. It could honestly go either way. That is my bracket. I have Hideo Itami and Kota Ibushi winning this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Who do you got in this Tag Team Classic? Do the Authors of Pain win it and continue to dominate NXT Tag Team? Or do you got the Revival? Or do you got Gargano and Ciampa? Who do you guys got? It's such a toss-up. And the later on this tournament gets, you're going to see some damn good fucking tag team wrestling, man. This tournament is looking fucking great, and I can't wait to see it unfold. Second annual Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I'm going with Itami and Ibushi winning the entire thing. Everything else that happened tonight, Rich Swann versus Patrick Clark, man. I don't know what the fuck, if you guys watched, what the fuck was going through Patrick Clark's head, man. It looked like this guy raided fucking Prince's wardrobe closet. Either that, or he was getting ready to fucking star in Magic Mike with Kevin Nash. I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing, man. He came out looking very flamboyant. I have no idea what spawned this gimmick, but obviously Rich Swann laughed it up, and he actually got the victory out of it. Running moonsault, 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Rich Swann beat Patrick Clark. Peyton Royce versus Danielle Camella. All this women's match proved to me was, and Peyton Royce, listen, you know, she can be good. She has the skill to advance in the women's division and make a name for herself in the women's division, but this women's match did one thing for me, and it proved to me that the NXT women's division is bone dry right now. There is literally nobody in that women's division ready at all to challenge Asuka. But you got Ember Moon. Ember Moon's more than ready. They've been doing house shows. Every house show that you guys have seen, they have done Ember Moon versus Asuka because that's where they are going. It is going to be the women's showdown that we see next of epic proportions. But do you give away Ember Moon versus Asuka already so soon? Or do you save it and you let it marinate? Do you save it for WrestleMania weekend? Do you give it at NXT TakeOver Toronto, being that there is nobody else? I mean, who the fuck else is there? There really is nobody else. Nobody has even come close to stepping up to the plate. You know? We got 1 month left until TakeOver Toronto. Do you build up Ember Moon in a match with Asuka right now? Or do you save it for WrestleMania weekend, when you know it's going to be of epic proportions? I don't know. WWE has a lot of thinking to do, but right now the women's division in NXT is completely bone dry. Samoa Joe proves to be and continues to be the best thing, literally the best thing on WWE television. They had this debut, this blue chip guy who they promoted for like 3 weeks, Dan Matha, and he comes out. This guy looks scary as fuck, man. This guy is 6'8". He's cross-eyed. He looks like a fucking schizo, right? He comes out. He's huge. He's an ex-football player. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals. WWE hyped him up as the blue chip rookie, the next best thing, the next big thing in the NXT Performance Center. He comes out, and I'm excited to see this guy. I want to see what this guy's about after weeks of hype. You know, Dan Matha is coming. Tonight, Dan Matha, his debut. All of a sudden, I see Samoa Joe come down, and he literally destroys this guy. This guy is 6'8", and Samoa Joe treated him like a piece of garbage. Samoa Joe takes the mic and asks Regal, how many more have to suffer like your blue chip? This is your blue chip, and I took him out. And he's proclaiming, you have 1 week. 1 week. It's either you give me Nakamura, you give me the title, or the rest of your roster will suffer the consequences even worse than what you've seen thus far. Samoa Joe is doing the best work in NXT, period. Samoa Joe's doing the best work out of anybody on the main roster, period. Can you imagine what this guy can do on the main roster? And I don't want to see him, according to rumors, people are already saying, you know, Samoa Joe might be headed to Monday Night Raw because Braun Strowman has called out Mick Foley that he wants better talent. He wants qualified opponents. One of the rumors is that Samoa Joe is one of those qualified opponents that's going to be staring Braun Strowman down. And I don't want to see that at all, man. Samoa Joe is worth so much more than that, man. Samoa Joe would fit ideally on SmackDown. And God knows they need a heel like Samoa Joe, man. He is doing the best work of his career right now in NXT. There's nobody more believable than Samoa Joe. He destroyed Dan Matha tonight, and he gives Regal an ultimatum. You give me Nakamura, or you give me the title. Strip him of the title, give me the title back where it belongs, or this is going to reach another level next week, and more will suffer. Unbelievable stuff by Samoa Joe. And that was pretty much it, man. That was pretty much it. We went over the Tag Team Classic. We went over the matches that took place tonight in the Tag Team Classic. Andrade Cien Almas turned heel. WWE gave us a reason to finally boo this guy. They were booing him to begin with, and now they finally gave us a reason as he attacked fan favorite Cedric Alexander tonight on NXT. You got the Revival advancing. You got Authors of Pain advancing as they beat the Bollywood Boys. And then Rich Swann won a singles match tonight against Patrick Clark. Next week, we're going to see more tag team action. Sanity is going to debut. They're going, in a match with Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode. That should be exciting. And NXT, man, they're slowly starting to pick it up, man. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is giving NXT a shot of adrenaline that they so desperately need. And I can't wait to see this unfold, man. Exciting stuff coming in NXT as we go on to TakeOver Toronto. That's your NXT review, man. Let's quickly go over Lucha Underground tonight for October 5th, 2016. Lucha Underground tonight, guys. October 5th, 2016. And I was really, really impressed with what I seen tonight as far as Lucha Underground goes. As far as the show goes for a whole, I think tonight was probably my favorite episode out of all 5 episodes so far. Obviously, Marty the Moth and Killshot was my favorite main event. But tonight as a whole, I think the show was probably the best that I've seen so far in Season 3. Now, a few things I do want to mention, man. Dario's Dial of Doom is back. It's made its return after a week off, and I am really enjoying the Dial of Doom, man. Matanza, as far as what I've seen so far in Lucha Underground, this guy has been built as an unstoppable force. This is how you build a monster. The guy is fucking virtually untouchable, man. And Lucha Underground, they throw in dashes of, could his opponent take him down? Could his opponent slay the beast? Could his opponent beat the monster? And nobody has been able to do so. They've come close. They've had a few offensive flurries here and there. They got a few upper hands here and there. But always in the end, Matanza summons the wrath of the gods. And he always beats his opponent down to reclaim the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Championship. Tonight, the Dial of Doom landed on Prince Puma. This will be the first opportunity that I got to see Prince Puma in a full legit match instead of doses here and there, highlights and fucking sneak attacks on Mil Muertes. Tonight would be the first opportunity for me to see Prince Puma in a full match for the Lucha Underground Championship, mind you, against the monster Matanza Cueto. So I was very intrigued by that right off the gate. This Dial of Doom, man, this could do wonders because, like I said, Lucha Underground has been building Matanza up, and I'm pretty sure that was apparent in Season 2, and they bled this into Season 3. He's still untouchable. The Dial of Doom could present different opportunities, man, for a variety of different superstars in Lucha Underground. This could also build up Matanza even more so, because, you know, you look at it, and this really isn't all that good for Matanza because he's going up against literally everybody and has to put up his title every single chance. Everybody that lands, every name that lands on that Dial of Doom, he's got to put his title on the line. So it's already against Matanza Cueto. It's against Matanza right off the bat. But he's come out and beaten everybody. You know? This, by default, is going to make Matanza look good. He's slaying guys left and right. He's going up against the odds, and everybody that fucking the Dial of Doom picks, whoever fucking, you know, is going to be suffering the worst kind of fate here, yeah, they get in a championship match, but they also got to fucking try and take down Matanza. And he's slaying everybody. So, it could make Matanza look better than he already does, and it presents an ample opportunity for somebody who could never realistically get a championship match. And they could be given the opportunity to pull off a fluke win. Not only beat Matanza, but be the fucking face of Lucha Underground. So I'm liking the Dial of Doom, man. I really like it. I love the concept. And it's a great gimmick for Season 3. It really is. And what they're playing up to tonight is what I am most intrigued about so far, and that's Johnny Mundo. That's Johnny Mundo, man. There was an instance on tonight's show in which Johnny Mundo, again, lobbied for a Lucha Underground championship match. He's like, everybody else has gotten a championship match. Where is my championship match? I want Matanza. I want my Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Championship match. And Dario Cueto's like, well, you know, it's not in your cards. Fate has not chosen you yet, you know? And then, obviously, Mundo was pissed. And he's like, okay, you're not going to give me, again, my deserved shot at the Lucha Underground Championship. What about Sexy Star? What about the Gift of the Gods Championship? You know, Sexy Star lost in that 8-man tag last week. She suffered the pinfall. And Dario's like, you're right, Johnny. You're right. She did suffer the pinfall. But it wasn't Johnny who pinned Sexy Star. He's like, Johnny, you are brilliant. Good job, Johnny. And then he thinks back to the 8-man tag and he realizes, Dario does, that Jack Evans pinned Sexy Star. So he's like, Johnny, you gave me a great idea. Sexy Star versus Jack Evans next week for the Gift of the Gods Championship. And Johnny Mundo walks off in disgust. He's like, what the fuck did I just do? You know, Dario being a dick as usual. So that's the way that ended up. You know, I'm very intrigued to see what's happening with Mundo here, man. You know, deep down, it's like Dario doesn't want to give Mundo the opportunity to fight Matanza, because he knows what Johnny Mundo is capable of. So is that what they're building towards for the climax of this season? Now, Season 3 is going to last up until next summer. So we got a long way to go, man. But what is this going on with Johnny Mundo? Is he going to be given the opportunity to try and take down Matanza and win the Lucha Underground Championship? Going to be very interesting to see, man. So that was the only segment in which we seen Johnny Mundo. Opening of the show, man. Few things that I noticed here. Ivelisse. I knew she looked familiar. And I knew she was a part of WWE. I just couldn't put my finger on it. And then I realized, and I did some research, and this is what Google's for, man. I Googled Ivelisse, and I looked up her Wikipedia, and I found out that she was actually a part of Tough Enough. Stone Cold's season of Tough Enough, man. Steve Austin. And I also realized while looking up Ivelisse, who's hot, by the way. How could WWE even let her go, man? Holy shit. And then I realized that Marty the Moth was actually a part of that season of Tough Enough. And he has some affiliation with WWE. So does Son of Havoc. He was part of that season as well. So if there's one thing you need to realize here is that WWE, all the time, has keen eyes for talent and scouting talent and bringing talent in. But there's also opportunities in which they let guys and females like Ivelisse, Marty the Moth, and Son of Havoc let them fall through the cracks. How could you let any of these individuals go? Could you imagine what they could do for an NXT? Holy shit, man. So that's something I found out which was quite intriguing. So I did some research on that, and I found out that they all had affiliation with WWE. You know what else they do better than WWE? They give their women opportunity. They give their women opportunity, man. Ivelisse versus Mariposa. And this match went over 10 minutes, and I was thoroughly intrigued. The women got some opportunity. They got some time to thrive on their weekly television program. This match ended with Ivelisse beating Mariposa with a beautiful sunset flip powerbomb for the 1-2-3. After the match, we see Mariposa and her brother, Marty the Moth, put the boots to Ivelisse, and that was pretty much it, man. They celebrated, and I'm looking at Marty the Moth, man. I'm looking at his facial expressions during the match, and as they're beating down Ivelisse after the match with Mariposa. I'm looking at his facial expressions, and he has the Brian Pillman fucking psychotic look and the smile and the grin down perfectly, man. Obviously, he's a little bit more jacked than Brian Pillman, but Marty the Moth got some great fucking facial reactions, facial expressions, man. So they beat down Ivelisse after the match, but Ivelisse does get the pinfall with a beautiful sunset flip powerbomb for the 1-2-3. Cage versus Texano. Best of 5 series. This is match number 2. And the winner, obviously, according to Dario Cueto, will get an ultimate opportunity, whatever the fuck that may be. They might be fighting for no reason, and Dario might fuck them over, which is my guess. But the thing with these best of 5, best of 7 series matches is the bookers and the promotions, whatever you watch, man. Lucha, WWE, Ring of Honor. They always think it's the bright idea, oh, we'll tie it, or we'll have one guy go up 3-zip or 2-zip, and we'll have the underdog try and make a comeback, and we'll even the odds, and we'll have a last and final match, or, we'll have a match 5 or a match 7. That is the stereotypical way of doing things. I mean, look at what they did with Cesaro and Sheamus, man. Look at what they did with Cesaro and Sheamus. WWE gave Sheamus 3 wins in a row. 3 wins in a row, right? And they built Cesaro with this underdog story that he's got to win 4 straight matches, and he did win 3. And then we get to a match 7, and it ends in a draw. Now, you look back at it, and it's 50-50. People wanted Cesaro to win because they thought it would be better for him and his character and his momentum. And then you look at what they did to Sheamus. If Sheamus loses 4 matches in a row, he's going to end up looking like a fucking bum. A loser. So looking back at it, WWE probably did the right decision by making it go a draw. And they made them into a tag team. A tag team that doesn't like each other, but a tag team nonetheless. Maybe they will start to develop a friendship. And that's where the story is, man. Can they work together in a vital situation to win the tag team championships? Because when 2 guys who fucking hate each other are given an opportunity to work together for a tag team championship, they're going to have to fucking be friends. They're going to have to work together. You don't want to be known as the losers who couldn't win the tag team championships. So that's where the story is. Can these guys coexist? Here, Cage and Texano. I feel like Lucha Underground is doing the same thing, man. Cage wins. And Cage is impressive, by the way. Cage is very impressive. I mentioned this when I first seen him. This is what Ryback wishes he could be as a WWE performer. Or a former WWE, employee, performer, superstar, whatever the fuck. This is what Ryback should have been, man. Look at Cage. Obviously, he's a walking WWE violation. Clearly, he's got fucking veins popping out of veins. But he reminds me of Ryback. He reminds me of that Ryback build. Now, Ryback can't do half the shit that Cage does. Nor do I want him to, because he's on Get Off My TV. He's a Get Off My TV alum. But Cage is impressive, man. And Cage is impressive enough to get a victory here. He actually went with an Alabama slam. Cage actually catches Texano with an Alabama slam. Cage then suplexes Texano from the apron and hits the Lucha Destroyer to get the victory and win match number 2, man. Now, like I said, I went into that whole Cesaro rant with Sheamus. Looks like Cage is being set up to lose the next 2 to Texano, and they're going to have a best of 5. But still, we don't even know what the fuck they're fighting for, man. Dario Cueto says the ultimate opportunity. For what? The ultimate opportunity could be nothing. And Dario could be doing this for sport, to see 2 guys who have talent beat the shit out of each other because he wants to see great in-ring action for his promotion. It could be really nothing. So, Cage is up 2-0, and I fully expect Texano to win the next match and then the match after that, and we will get a 5th and deciding match here in this best of 5 series. Someone who I haven't seen in a very long time, who is a former NXT alum, Sami Callihan, Solomon Crow. He is going by the name of Jeremiah. This is the first time we're seeing him on Season 3, and apparently he was playing the role of Ivalice's boyfriend, and he apologizes to Ivalise when he finds out that her match has already taken place. He missed the match. Fuck him, right? Shitty boyfriend. You can get with JD, honey. You could get with JD. Fuck Jeremiah. Who the fuck names their son Jeremiah? Fuck out of here, man. It's a pussy name. You get with JD, honey. Jeremiah sees that Ivalise is hurting and asks her about it, right? She says that it's no big deal. She could fight her own battles. She got jumped at the end of the match. It is what it is. Jeremiah says that he's going to go after the people who jumped her, that no one touches his girl. Ivalise tells him to calm down. She doesn't need anyone to fight her battles. Jeremiah disagrees and states that he has heard that the temple doors are open to everybody. Ivalise tells Jeremiah that she wants to keep her personal life away from her professional life. Typical fucking answer. Typical woman, You don't want your boyfriend celibate, meaning you don't want him in your fucking life, honey. Get rid of him, dump the fucking guy, and get with JD. JD wants to make an appearance at the fucking temple. I'll fucking cause a stir over there, man. You'll never forget JD. Anyway, enough clowning around. Jeremiah mistakenly calls Son of Havoc Son of Chaos. Ivalise tells her boyfriend just to take her home so that she can have a drink. He pulls out a flask, and he downs alcohol right in front of her. He offers her some after he drank the whole thing, and she pushes him away in disgust. And she says, I guess I'm driving, right? Because you're already wasted. So that was that. And the championship match, man, main event, Matanza, with Dario Cueto versus Prince Puma. First opportunity seeing Prince Puma in a full-fledged match. I know, I'm a goon. I'm a noob to this Lucha Underground thing. Very impressed, man. Prince Puma, he does everything with fluidity. Everything seems perfect, man. There was an instance in this match, man. And you guys see Prince Puma's body, physique, and obviously he's the much smaller man. Matanza is just a fucking beast. Guy's got to be 300 fucking pounds. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what he looks like under the mask. Because I'm always thinking about someone who's this intimidating and is playing this type of character in a wrestling role on a wrestling show. I wonder what he looks like under the mask. Does he look as intimidating with the mask on without the mask? That's what I was thinking. But it had nothing to do with the match. And I'm looking at Prince Puma, and there was an instance in this match where Puma, towards the end, and I thought he was actually going to win it. He had me on the edge of my seat, motherfucker. Puma does a Northern Lights float over suplex, all in one motion, mind you. He didn't let go of the suplex. He did a Northern Lights suplex to Matanza, and then he did it from the Northern Lights position into a brainbuster. All in one motion. And Matanza's got to be at least 300 fucking pounds. The guy picked him up, already wrestled fucking 15 minutes with the guy. He was getting his ass kicked for most of the match. Because this match went to Matanza's speed. You know, Prince Puma came out trying to do aerial attacks and aerial assault, and he tried to use his quickness and his speed against the Monster, and the Monster eventually grounded him for most of the match. And after being beaten down for close to 15 minutes, Prince Puma does a Northern Lights suplex into a brainbuster in one motion without letting go of the hold. That is fucking impressive. Absolutely impressive. And then on top of that, you thought that was impressive. Remember, this is the first time that I'm seeing Prince Puma. A full-fledged match from Prince Puma. He does that, and then he does a 620. What was 630 off the top rope? I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. Matt Striker's going crazy. This is it. You know, he's got him next to the turnbuckle. You know what that means. 630, he nailed it. As soon as the referee made the count, Mil Muertes came out. Fucked the entire thing up. Crowd was fucking literally spewing hate at Mil Muertes. Referee is calling for the bell. Obviously, with Dario Cueto out there, he's like, don't you dare ring that fucking bell. Dario's like, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. Referee's yelling at Dario Cueto, look what's going on here. Well, don't you see what's going on here? How can you let this happen? Dario lets it happen. Right? He's like, let them go. Mil Muertes picks up Puma, flatliner, and he just levels him out. Before you know it, Matanza picks up the pieces that are left of Prince Puma, delivers the Wrath of the Gods, 1, 2, 3, and Matanza retains the Lucha Underground World Heavyweight Championship thanks to Mil Muertes. Unbelievable. Great fucking main event. Really enjoyed this show. And that's the way they went off the air, man, as far as in-ring action goes. But that was very, very impressive, man. Prince Puma was very impressive tonight. The match picked up in the beginning, slowed down to Matanza's pace, picked up again in favor of Prince Puma, and then we seen Mil Muertes come out. Very, very enjoyable main event, and I'm really enjoying Matanza's work. I'm really enjoying this Dial of Doom. It gives Matanza the opportunity to run through opponents left and right and build him up as an unstoppable force. Who the fuck can stop this guy? The Dial of Doom also gives the opportunity to guys like Prince Puma and The Mac and Son of Chaos, Son of Havoc, right? And it gives guys opportunities for an instant title shot so they don't have to work for it. And if you have that going on, it's going to present an opportunity where someone is eventually going to pull off a fluke. And I'm waiting for it to land on Mundo. I haven't seen the Dial of Doom yet, man. I really haven't looked close at it. I don't even know if Mundo's name is on there. But I want to see if Mundo gets his championship match and can take the beast down, man. That's what I'm waiting for. This Johnny Mundo, Dario Cueto dissension is really intriguing, and I can't wait to see how that develops over Season 3. We go to the end of the show, man, and we see Joey Ryan sucking on his fucking lollipop. He's with Killshot. Killshot's lifting weights, and he's approached by Joey Ryan, who is obviously playing an LAPD detective. Joey Ryan hands Killshot an envelope and says, some guy on the outside wanted me to give this to you. Killshot asks, which guy? And Ryan responds with, the fuck do I look like? I'm a detective? Like throwing fun at him, you know? Obviously nobody knows he's a detective. Dario Cueto knows he's an undercover detective, but nobody else does. Ryan walks away, sucking on his lollipop. Killshot looks at the contents in the envelope and sees a note. And it says, you left me for dead. And the show goes off the air. I don't know what that means. If you guys know what that note meant or who it might be from, sound off in the comments below. But that's your Lucha Underground review, man. Very enjoyable show. This was my favorite show of all 5 so far. It was just fluid, man. It was just fluid. Everything flowed. Not much storyline progression, but the in-ring action was very, very nice, man, for a Wednesday night. Same thing with NXT. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Left me for dead, man. Who is he talking about? Fill me in. Fill JD in, man. Being I'm a fucking noob over here talking about Lucha Underground, man. But very, very impressive show. Great main event with Matanza and Prince Puma. Mil Muertes cost him the match. We had Ivelisse versus Mariposa, and we had Cage and Texano in match number 2. Cage is up 2-0 in that best of 5. Let me know what you guys are thinking, man. Lucha Underground. I'll be back next week with more NXT and Lucha. Until then, I'm JD. I'll see you guys on Friday for Off the Script. Talk to you later.